Still alive, sort of. Obviously, it is a late start. To those of you on YouTube, you have no idea what kind of a start it is. But this is well, other than the fact that I always keep talking about them, this was sort of a late by design. I messed up my dinner, went out, it was raining, and I keep forgetting. Let's jump to the Hamlet. I kind of forget that adding an extra live streaming day can sometimes take a lot out of me. I don't want to get too self-pitying on this stuff. Obviously, I choose when to stream, and I kind of choose how often, so on and so forth. And clearly, my revealed preference is to continue doing it. But work is getting back to a very unpleasant state. And on top of that,
The plume and the pistol. A fitting end to my folly, and a curse upon us all.
Basically, sort of finding myself both with the kind of the work situation and then sort of just the pace that I've had with the streaming, especially with the fact that I'm doing these vodcasts basically every weekend. I'm definitely noticing that when I add an extra day like I did yesterday, and for a wonderful game, I had an absolute blast with Fit for a King. If you haven't checked it out, it's the new game published by Kit Fox Games. But yeah, it was wonderful reasons. I had a good time streaming it in that. But I will confess, it is becoming. It actually takes a lot out of me to add another live cast day. So I really don't like skipping days. It would have to be I am feeling genuinely sick, or I am simply not able to make it to a cast. So, something like the power's out, or something along those lines. But one of the things that I have done is sort of, if I need some time to clear my head, I will take it. And so this is sometimes the reason, in addition to things like trying to be a little bit more consistent in cooking for myself and things like that, this is the reason why I sometimes take that time. Now, with that in mind, hey, Ascanius, good to see you. I was actually just about to say, one of the costs to doing a really late stream, especially on Fridays, is it's entirely possible I don't see anyone. That's not true, actually. It's been a very long time since I've done a broadcast and no one shows up. But it is still one of these risks that I run, so I try not to do that too much. And that's sort of my filibuster before we start talking about the state we find ourselves in. So I hope you all are well. Those of you watching this, I hope you've got a wonderful weekend coming up, or at the very least an acceptable one. And let's take a quick look at the state of the Hamlet. So I think I overstated the sort of the devastation of that loss. Now, I'll be honest with you, I rather would not have lost, Ego, Casual Nothing, and Mojo Storm. Ego especially was a particularly strong, strong character. It is worth noting that we were at level 2 with the weapon. So here's the thing to take a look at here. Mojo Storm, level 2. Casual Nothing, level 2. Ego Akaran, level 2. So while these were high-level characters, and certainly we'd put some... I know we'd put sort of some points into... I'm pretty sure we put some points into improving their abilities. I don't know if there's a way of telling. Unless all of these ones really mean that. I don't think that's correct. That or they reset when they die. Anyways, the thing is that the investments that we had made in these characters were not too intense. So while it is never nice to lose 3 sort of higher level characters, it is also worth considering that we've now upgraded to experienced recruits, which means that basically we are on sort of a higher plateau in terms of the types of characters. Missed the filibuster? Oh no, I mean, you pretty much came in right at the start, Ascanius. It was a short filibuster. I've only been streaming for 5 minutes, so. And Cameruni, your streams start your Saturday. That's awesome. I'm really happy to see that little sub badge beside. Okay, here's the thing. I don't want to make too much of a big. I don't want to make too much of a big deal out of it. But I am really happy whenever I see familiar names with that sub badge beside them. So I don't. Again, everybody has sort of reasons for subbing or not subbing, so I don't want to make too much of a big deal of it. But I also wanted to comment on it. It made me feel good, so thank you. Bring Sharp with you for easy loot. Actually, Sharp complicates things a little bit. So first of all, Sharp's getting drunk, having been the only survivor from Wolf. But Sharp is actually also the individual. For those of you who don't know, by the way, Ascanius used to be Sean Bean. Sean Bean SM, I believe, was the specific name. And so Sharp was the name of the character. So one of the few sort of top tier heroes to one survive, but also be named after one of the viewers. But yeah, so one of the challenges here is that so Sharp's level 6, which means that realistically it's like level 5 and 6 characters that I want to be bringing sort of Sharp on missions with. Now what was I going to say? Right, so I mean, again, like if we were going to be losing these 3 characters, beyond the time that we've sort of shared with them and the fact that it's like all like named characters, this was actually not as devastating of a loss as it might seem at the beginning. Now we're in a bit of a precarious financial situation, but in terms of rebuilding the hamlet, you know, we built up the stagecoach, so we know that we're going to be getting some level 3 people coming in. And at this point, it's really just a matter of getting our finances up. Some of my longer term plans will be to be investing in the training regimen and the furnace. So this means that deeds and paintings are sort of at a premium. I am a little upset that we lost some of the trinkets, but essentially this is going to be a little bit of a rebuilding phase, particularly along the lines of money, as well as some of the goodies to improve the hamlet. And of course, if we get an opportunity, we'll try and take out some bosses. So, hello, GNR Slash. But yeah, so I'll caution you here, Ascanius. Other than the fact that you're drinking your cares away, you might actually be benched for a little while, just because I don't necessarily have a full party of 5s and 6s with like full weapons and armor, and that might actually be a really good recipe for me killing you. So, anyways, let's take a minute here. If I want, I can take a shot at the Sunken Crew. I could take a shot at the Fulminating Prophet. I could take a shot at Room Battles. So let's turn this around and say what's going to give me the stuff that I want. I don't think I'm ready for the Shrieker's Perch. This is a champion level. This is a bit much to ask. So this will get me credit. Let's just go for money and heirlooms. Okay, so bumper crop. Not quite sure what that gives me. Okay, 12 deeds is... Oh. Yeah. This is a very attractive option, despite the fact that it's the ruins. Okay, well, Thing from the Stars might cause me some grief. I mean, Fulminating Prophet, not terrible, but it's hard to argue for going for that right now. Yeah, so we can explore, or we can... I mean, both of them are very rare. Both of them give me deeds, and yeah, it's a tough call. I think I am going to go for the ruins, though. The ruins is a little bit more of a known quantity. Okay, so next up, what are we looking at in terms of party members? So Plagas, Masamagoma, Camerooni, Tall Woman Alive. All level 3s. So the only other... So a couple switch outs that I might want to consider. Masholt makes sense because of the bonuses against the undead. The Iron Swan's got to be a position 2. Okay, this is a decent position 2, though. So if I were to get rid of the Abomination... mind you, the Blight helps. Now, I'm sorry to say this, Camerooni, you might be the one that I sort of kick from the party on this one, because the Bleed abilities don't help quite as much. And we've only got a buffing Battle Ballad rather than one of the others. So some other alternatives would be Cecilia. Cecilia's got the Flashing Daggers, which is pretty desirable. And then we also have Bouchier, who is good with the Hounds. I'm actually thinking Cecilia in this case. And the argument here is that they're a bit closer to a level 4. So we'll bring Masholt, we'll bring Cecilia, and I do want some kind of a healer. It's not the most attractive option. I mean, the alternative would be to take out Tall Man Alive or Tall Woman Alive, and maybe that would be the argument for the the Houndmaster. But I at least get one, a minor heal, but more importantly, 2, bleed resist. So, alternatively, I can also bring level 4 people, but I actually don't want to have too many level 4 people brought in, because then I can't bring them to take out the bosses. Now, before I do this, do we have any people who we can... Okay, I've got Masholt, who I can rename. Ren, who I can rename. Did we lose Dismas? No, Dismas is still around. So we've got Ren, we've got Masholt, Kaliar, Scream, Boucher, and Chia. I'm pretty sure Chia. No, Chia was a viewer, wasn't it? I'll say I'm pretty sure they were. So so let's say we've got a Houndmaster, we've got a Shield, Shield Breaker. We've got a Crusader and a Vestal for anybody who would like to have themselves named after a character. And what I will say is, if you have a character who died, I was originally saying that so it would be that people can't if you've died, it's permanent. I'm as long as everybody who wants a name has got a name, I'm going to open it up, and you can make a descendant. So you can't have your name again, but we'll allow either the second or sort of an increment of your name, or we can do something to indicate that it is the follow-up version. You'd be okay. Do you have a preference amongst the Crusader? So we've got the Crusader, which is this guy. We have got the Vestal, Ren. We have got Kaliar, the Musketeer, Scream, the Shield Breaker, and Boucher, the Houndmaster. Do you have a preference out of any of those characters? You've never played or watched this game. I'd be a warrior kind of dude, I think. Oh, well, so out of the... So melee kind of warrior types, either the Shield Breaker or the Crusader are probably the best 2 out of the options that you have. And I would say that the Crusader is a little more traditional. You can sort of see the 2-handed sword and the armor and whatnot. So What kind of a well, I mean, in terms of what's most helpful to me, this is the one character that doesn't have a name that that's coming in, so that's a pretty easy one for me to answer here. Would you like me to just call it GNR/49, or do you want a special name? Okay, and then in addition to a name, you can pick your outfit. So we've got the color number 4, so sort of this blue outfit. Number 1, purple. Number 3, sort of red and gold. Sorry, 2, red and gold. 3, white. So again, we've got 4 is sort of blue, 1 is purple, 2 is red, 3 is white, and we're back to the blue. So name and color are the only 2 things I'm looking for. All right, so number 3. And did you want just your name as it appears in chat, or did you want a special name? All right, sounds good. So again, the aim here is to try and get a bunch of money. Now, it is going to be a long run, and I don't have a lot of healers, so I am going to spend on food. Oh, only need 3. And it's half my money for. I'm definitely skimping on torches, but there's a side of me that wants to bring no torches. But in this case, I'm gonna work with this. Actually, it's another 2,000 for food. Do I need 36? I don't think I need 36 food. I'm gonna bring 24. I might be shorting myself a little bit, but GNR/49. Yep. Let's see how this works. The only thing I'm not crazy about is with only 30% scouting, but let's see if we can pull this off. Oh, I'm gonna take a quick minute on trinkets. All right, everybody has trinkets, so this may not be my ideal setup, but we'll work with that. All right, so GNR/, you are in for a bit of an adventure if you've never seen Darkest Dungeon before, because this is a really cool game, but it's also a really tough one.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar, now foreign.
So one of the things I want to be focusing on here, if I can, is sort of maximizing the coverage without as many repeats between rooms. And this is just to keep sort of the torch that I have available. But on the other hand, I do like taking little spots like this. Ooh, especially because we get a free torch. You salvage the unburned torch. The hero is absolved of a sin. Slow reflexes quirk removed. Okay, so one of the things that I want to worry about here are any kinds of stress, because we are going to be here for a long time, and I don't have any good ways of dealing with them. So I'm going to focus on the back row right now, and I am going to use the Iron Swan to try and take out the courtier. So in this case, we'll do a thrown dagger at the Enchantress. This is partly because I think the Iron Swan might be able to take out the courtier. I failed to do so, so we're going to have stress from multiple people. Hey! Alright, that is definitely not a bad starting round, so we can completely ignore the Enchantress here. So let's focus on a Noxious Blast. We'll put it on the Bone Conscript.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
Either it's a pick to the face on the Gladiator, or or Thrown Dagger on the Conscript. In this case, Thrown Dagger on the Conscript.
Continue the
That's just because I trust sort of my front two characters to take out the Gladiator. Alright, now this is a bit of a shame because I would have normally liked the, what is it, the Plague Doctor to heal that bleed rather than let it tick for the 3 rounds. What I'll try here is I'll do the Stunning Blow. Yeah, you know what? I think this is worth it. So we'll hit the corpse. That's just to get me the tempo. And now we can do a Battlefield Medicine. So what this accomplishes is it keeps my Hellion from taking too much damage, and we still get the same outcome.
Give them no quarter.
Yeah, so taking these little offshoots isn't exactly consistent with the minimize repetition, but the thing is I also kind of like to bank in whatever rooms I can, sort of as, like, basically I like the options, so by having, I don't like early hunger like that.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
So it's basically moments like this that I like. So yes, there's a battle in the hallway, but overall, this is kind of tempting. Let's go for it. Got some fine dodge in there, GNR Slash. So again, I'm going to Iron Swan the Gatekeeper. And they're really trying to put the stress on GNR. Right, that guy's definitely gone next round. Oof! Have you seen my blood? Yeah, so GNR Slash is a bit of a worry right now just because of the real focus on his stress, and I don't have any way of mitigating that, so I think it's pretty clear that we're going to wind up with some nasty business. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a hell of a lot that I can do with this third row, so I'm just going to drop another Plague Grenade and hope that it does enough ticking damage. Oh, 10 damage around? Yeah, this guy's gone.
Slowly, gently.
So we'll do a Zealous Accusation to sort of spread out the damage, and then we'll take out the most readily available.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And I think I'll take the opportunity for a heal. It's a small one. Ooh, that's... Aye, the dodge worked.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Alright, so Invitation, and we're not that we're short on those, but this was good for the loot. Okay, the Slavering Ghoul's going to be a little bit of a worry, so in this case we're going to drop the Plague Grenades if I can. Actually, can I maybe do a Noxious Blast instead? I can. So... yeah, this is worth more. So this is armor piercing, so in this case we're going to take this for the higher damage to prot. So this is definitely a prime candidate for fixing the bleed. In this case, the Hellion and the Crusader are going to deal with the Gladiator just... oh, okay, well, never mind. What's their stun resist like? Pretty high, so I think we're just going to whack them with the sword. Never mind! Alright, so obviously Battlefield Medicine first so that we can heal up some of that damage. Again, we'll do the armor piercing pick to the face. Cool. We've been getting pretty lucky with the dodges.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
I don't know why I lit that torch. I already knew it was an empty room. But in this case, we basically have 3 rooms down. Didn't have to do ridiculous amounts of combat. We actually volunteered for more than we needed to, and we're in a pretty decent position to take care of the rest of the dungeon. There is the small concern about how much food we have, but if I feel like I'm getting short on food, I can always toss one of the campfires. Essentially, the campfires are they're my substitute for healing. Alright, this guy's going to be a little bit of a pain, but I want to focus on the Bone Noble first because of the high stress on GNR. Pick to the face is really tempting here, but like I said, I do want to take down the Bone Noble, so... no options here, though. And Iron Swan to make the most of the... Alright, this is not surprising at all. Cool. So, pretty high priority on the Bone Noble. 10 damage around. Yep.
Their formation is broken. Maintain.
So if this takes us a longer time to get rid of the Bone Commander, the Plague Doctor is going to be healer for the Crusader. Jesus, we're getting lucky. Alright. Bonus against Unholy seems the right call. So with any luck, we'll be able to get at least 1 heal in, and we do. Again, the 2s are nothing to really write home about, but they're better than nothing.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
Alright, now we need to start picking what we want to get rid of. So, let's say... I'm not crazy about getting rid of stuff like bandages and whatnot, but I do want to make sure that I'm getting the heirlooms. So we're gonna drop that. Now I am kind of curious what happens if you use the holy water. Divine benefit. Hey, sweet. All right. That was exactly what we needed. So we'll deal with this little branch first. Starting to get a bit low on the torches, but we'll manage. So, flashing daggers, I think. Alright, now unfortunately I don't think the Plague Doctor is going to be able to mop up. Now, position 3 is actually the hardest for me to deal with, so we'll drop a grenade there. 5 damage around. Okay, so the Overgrown Spitter is done.
Back to the pit.
And then this is a nice setup for Zealous Accusation. So even if the plague wasn't going to take him out, we're able to deal with the 2. I'm going to start running down the torch. It seems like a decent opportunity to camp coming up. Okay, we do have a fight coming up. Ah, it looks like there's a secret door. Okay. What I think I'm going to do... I think we're going to run it down where we can here. I'm a little uncomfortable with this, but... Came from nothing, but I'll not end with nothing. Physician, heal thyself. So this is a prime one for the Plague Grenade. This does mean that they're going to take bleeding damage, but for the greater good. No surprise there.
annihilated. How quickly the tide turns.
Okay, so we'll spread the love on this one. There's a bit of an argument to doing the smite on the bone bulwark, but the bleed damage is actually a little bit of a worry as well. Now in this case here, I'm going to mitigate the bleed damage on GNR. As it turns out, we got some decent healing in as well. And I'm pretty sure they're going to get a trait now. Ooh! Alright, you've just become powerful. Stoke the bonfire and tie the noose. Justice is nigh. Congratulations, GNR. You are a complete badass. Pick to the face would have been smarter there because of the protection. Let's get rid of the bleed guy. So getting a little low on health, but we know that we're going to be camping soon. So knowing that the plague's going to take out this individual, we're just going to heal where we can. And Bob's your uncle.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task.
All right, Onyx, we're going to get rid of the holy water for that, and it would be nice to get a stack of gold. Question is, where? In this case, I'm going to ditch out the citrine, and I think it's because it's more likely I'm going to get more gold than citrine coming up. So we will open up a slot when we get rid of the firewood, but for now, we're stuck with what we've got. Hidden treasures.
A fortune.
Okay.
Waiting to be
So the gold was the right call there, but I need to start giving up stuff now. Again, the temptation to get rid of these torches is really high. So
as the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted.
I might change
purpose
my
is made
strategy
clear.
about when I use the campfire.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Gives me even more reason to reconsider my campfire strategy. Oh, hi guys. Okay, plague grenade.
Masterfully executed.
That's just to deal with the fact that they've got a high prot. We're gonna focus on taking out these guys first. I can't pick to the face, unfortunately, so we need to get rid of the maggots. They've identified Tall Woman Alive as the weak one now. So, in this case, I'm actually going to use 8 damage. No, I'm going to... Ooh, bad luck. Glory and honor! Ever thus to be brave, my friends!
Be gone, fiend.
Alright, so that I really just wanted to get this thing up to position 1. Now we get to do all the fun stuff. Jesus Christ. Okay, this guy's got to heal. This is actually a really good argument for setting up camp.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
Real difficulty is how far do I want to push this? I think I am going to try running ahead. I'm going to try and at least get to the secret door. And again, this is just about trying to minimize the amount of torch that I sort of I lose to the... Okay, now, I'm not going to be able to take advantage of anything inside here, so this is a good excuse to make camp.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
So obviously, healing to Tall Woman Alive is a big call. Now, it would be great if I had something to protect me from ambushes, but I don't. Alright, so self-medicate's a good call. Sharpened Spear seems like a good call. Okay, wound care. Probably do... I can't self-apply this, right? Yeah. No, looks like I have to apply it. No, I don't. Okay, we can definitely afford to Sharpen Spear. We'll do night moves just for the scouting. I was actually kind of tempted to do Stand Tall, but I didn't plan that out properly. So let's go for Encourage. Now the drawback here is we might have a nighttime ambush. That's going to be a big problem. Plenty of blood left to shed this day. Blessed are we that no fear has overtaken us. Rations will carry us, thank the gods.
The way is lit.
Okay,
the path
we made
is
it.
clear. We require
Left behind
only
quite a
the strength
stash.
to follow it.
So the citrine would have been like nice to have, but it's still the lowest value of the items. So I'm gonna leave it behind. And yeah, it is a pretty in-depth game. You know, I mean, one of the funny thing is there is actually something to be said for the simplicity of it overall, but it's sort of what it does is there's sort of it has this narrow set of things that it sort of focuses. In some sense, it's actually one of the most insane management sims that you could imagine. So it's sort of like what it does is it takes each of it takes a sort of, you know, your heroes, and it sort of takes the...
In Radiance, may we find victory.
It seems to sort of take that idea and go as deep as possible with it. So you know, you've got your party of heroes, you've got the 4 abilities, but you have more than 4 abilities that you can pick from and level up. You've got camping abilities. You've got all of the different stresses and all the different items and such. But in the end, every single one of these are just sort of facets of the character. And I mean, other than the sort of town mechanics, that's kind of it. So I think one of the things that really attracts me to the game is how there doesn't seem to be a lot of fat on it. So like, I mean, I obviously really love my Baroque strategy games. But one of the great virtues of Darkest Dungeon is that, like, when you've sat down with the game, I would argue that you pretty much know what you need to. Like, probably from the first, you know, maybe I'd say, like, if I'm really stretching it, there's like the first mission on your way to the hamlet and maybe the first run, and you basically know everything that you need to know about the game, I would argue. So it's always tempting to do the Iron Swan, but in this case I really do want to make sure that I deal with the maggots. So in this case, Zelasaki's I thought we'd be able to get rid of the maggot. I think self-medicating is the right call here. I don't like it, but I want Tall Woman Alive to make it.
And
this
now
is scary.
the true test. Hold fast or expire.
Ah, and they're stunned. Okay. That puts a really high priority on taking this thing out.
Well struck.
So I'm pretty sure the twitching maggot can't actually hurt the back row, so I'm actually... Oh, Jesus, we're losing a lot of people to...
Inspiration and improvement.
I'm prioritizing this guy specifically so they can't get a death blow on the on the Plague Doctor.
Festering fear.
Okay, they
consumes
didn't die.
the
That's
mind.
important.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
I'm gonna try a stun, but I don't think it'll work.
Their cursed
Champion falls.
So do we have a... We don't have a fight coming up, so I think there's a good argument for another campfire. It's a bit premature, but thing is, I don't know what waits for me in these other rooms.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Okay, so we'll get rid of the mortality debuffs. Self-medicate, wound care. Sharpened spear is kind of tempting here. Oh, nope. Snuff box on the character who's got tetanus. And I don't think anybody has a time one.
The light.
Okay.
The promise of safety.
And the good news is we didn't run into any any ambushes. Now I'm not going to open up this cocoon, and this is just because I still need to get my 90% of rooms taken care of, and I don't have any means of healing otherwise. So if I walk by it again, I might consider it. But at the moment, we need to focus on the objective. This is one of the reasons why I picked up scouting, because now I can start picking my battles. Damn it. This is the one person I don't want to get hit with a trap. Okay. Lucky there. Now, one of the nice things, we are going to get more stress for being in the dark, but we are going to get more loot. Alright, I only have one more hunger, so hopefully the rations will last us. If not, we're in a lot of trouble. But I still think I made the right call with that second camp. I'm trying to pass by these things if I can, but... Alright, that's not ideal, but...
The darkness holds much worse than mere trickery and boogeymen.
Now the funny thing is, I have yet to encounter any blockages. The thing that we bought all those shovels for.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
You know, the funny thing here, GNR Slash, this is not a character I normally consider much of a healer, because the fact of the matter is, like, so if I look at the HP, we've got 48, 47, 27, and 29. So each of the heals that character can deliver is basically, it's pretty minuscule, especially compared to the damage that people can deal. We're still going to prioritize the Bone Noble. But the fact of the matter is, I have invested in Tall Woman Alive, so in general, you don't want to lose heroes anyway. So 5 damage per round, they've got, that's a shame. It would have been nice to start dedicating to the Bone Commander, but... So yeah, if you take a look at that, the amount of damage that one character does is 5 times what the healer takes care of. But you're right, like obviously it makes sense to be able to stop things like bleed and such. It is permadeath, yeah. And the game saves pretty frequently, so there's no way to cheat it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take out the Bone Spearman first, and this is just a sheer matter of, you know, taking pieces off the board is sort of the better way of it's a better, you know, better source of damage mitigation. 5 damage around, still don't quite have enough. It would have been nice to sort of distribute some of the plague, but in this case, this is now enough to take him out. Okay, ground pound was not great, but I am going to be able to start dedicating healing on the plague doctor now. Glory and honor! Ever thus to be brave, my friends! Stunning is actually kind of tempting here, but... Okay, physician heal thyself. Jesus Christ!
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
We'll trade out the holy water. This is going to be a tough one. I think I gotta heal the position 1. Alright. This one I'm going to do the Iron Swan on the hope that the Zealous Accusation does the job. Nicely done. GNR is the MVP.
Gnawing uncertainty, the birthplace of dread.
So the nice thing about the maggots are that they're relatively easy to take out, which means that I'm able to... Yikes! I'm able to get this guy into position 1 and have my grave robber do the pick to the face a little more often.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I wonder if the secret room counts as one of the explored. Okay, again, scouting's paying off. This is a risky move, but it also has a reward, so... Alright, not my favorite combo to go against, but let's see what we can do. We're definitely starting to run out of steam here, so I need to be very careful. Against my better judgment, I am going to go for the heals. Okay, the more sanity damage they do, it kind of hurts me in the long run, but I'm actually okay with the sanity damage because I can't really afford to heal. I'm going to try Iron Swanning here, just... Oh, crap. Again, I'm kind of assuming Zealous Accusation clears out the front 2 rows. Jesus.
Injury
That looks like a stun, too.
Set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
Irrational. This is a pickle.
The abyss returns.
I'm gonna try a stun here just to see if we can, Okay, good. We've got some time to heal up this character. Or I may not. Yeah, the one time I don't want the one time I don't want to crit.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
I hate that I'm doing this. I'm going to... I really need the money, and I want the heirlooms. So this can come back to bite me in the ass in a big way. I simply cannot replace anything else for these crests. And we're on our way to a treasure room fight. Christ almighty. Alright. No way. They're gonna have a heart attack too. This sucks. Jesus. This is two characters that need healing like constantly now.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
Wow. That's like the worst possible time I could have lost the healer.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
Ah!
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
I'm seeing this through to the end. We need the money. I'm doing Iron Swan. God damn it! Nah.
Another life wasted in the pursuit of glory and gold.
This is looking really grim.
Obliterated. A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
I have some very hard decisions to make. Okay. We made it! Yeah, we lost two pretty decent heroes there, but we got the money.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles.
How much are two portraits are worth quite a bit to me right now. All right.
The great ruins
I agree with every choice that I made there.
We will find whatever secrets they hold.
So that's 28,000 gold. Yeah, so it's not just the 28,000 gold. We also just saved ourselves a bunch of money in terms of training. So, and again, the thing is the focus is on the long-term viability of the hamlet, not the individual heroes. So Plagas and GNR Slash made it. Cecilia, tall woman alive, died for the greater good. So Fast Healer and Vertigo and a Blutomania. Okay. That was fun.
No amount of scrubbing can remove the stains of such fearsome piety.
The abbot will not comment on the condition of the penance hall at this time, except to say that he expects normal operations to be resumed shortly. Penance hall is locked, transept costs minus 50%, and cloister costs minus 50%. Frankenvinder is experiencing double vision after a long night of drinking. Sharp had a night on the town and recovered 70 stress and is no longer fearful. JFC Fuller has gone on a personal vision quest to achieve enlightenment, meditated and recovered 70. Sin underwent effective disease treatment and cured the worries. Penance Hall is locked. GNR Slash and Plagas are now level 4. Oh, it's a wonderful game, GNR Slash. I'm also playing with all the DLC, so there is the Crimson Court, which it will tell you that it is harder than the other content. This is true, but don't let that turn you off of trying it. Soon. Like, I actually regret waiting that as long as I did to try it out, because it's actually very satisfying DLC. Color of Madness I haven't gotten to see as much of, but it's still pretty cool. Alright, now this is curious, because I thought that... Oh, sometimes appear. Okay. So we are actually getting a little short on recruits. So we did lose a Grave Robber. So I'll bring these two in.
Those with a keen eye, gold gleams like a dagger's point.
Okay, Blacksmith first, so that's taken care of. Guild. Still short on the painting, so we'll let that rest. Alright, let's start thinking about some stress relief. So first things first, let's kick out the existing party members. So there's discounts on the other buildings right now, so let's sort by stress. So Plagas, GNR, Sin. Seems a little wasteful to... Well, no, you know what? I know I'm not going to be sent... Oh, Sharp. Sharp's a Tippler, right. So it's really just doing that for the discounts. Okay. Definitely back on track as far as money is concerned. So let's think a little bit about what kind of crews we want to get together. So we can go after the Sunken Crew, we can go after the Fulminating Prophet. Okay, so the Fulminating Prophet is... Oh, actually, this is one that can potentially earn me quite a bit. I seem to remember the Fulminating Prophet has the... So there's basically they sort of foretell doom. So you want to make sure that you're able to heal people. They also have those like benches, and you want to like tear those down because they're worth a lot of money. They do have kind of like a blight sort of style attack, but I don't think there's a lot that I can do about that. So there's an argument for the Man-at-Arms and their ability to sort of defend me against the bad stuff. I think a lot of bleed makes sense. Is it bleed? I feel like bleed is the right one to use against the Prophet. Okay, let's pretend that I'm going to be going against a position 4. Okay, so the problem here with Ren is that they're level 5, so they're not actually going to go on this one. And I don't... now this is the challenge. I don't think I actually have a Vestal to bring along with this. So this is a little harder than I thought it might be. So based on the party I have right now, Plagas would actually be a really good choice to go after the Prophet. So it'd be Bouchier. I kind of have to have a healer, so we'd say Frankenvinder. Do I not have a mana? Okay, True Asgoth. I feel like I would have to... Guard ally. Yeah, so they would be... Yeah, I see that working, actually. Let me put Scream up in this position. How's the playthrough? Any deaths yet? Oh, yes, lots of deaths, Maka the Baka. And how you doing, Demon Priestess? So, I mean, it's probably not the sort of... The only thing that I don't have a satisfactory answer for is the pews, which would be really nice. But I think with my existing group, that's... Like, except for the adding a leper, I think that's kind of true for everything. So maybe the argument would be, like, Kaya LB and... I mean, actually, Solemnity is not a bad... Yeah, you know what? Bring Kaya LB instead. Now, before I go on that, I actually want to see if I'm able to get people like to the level that I want them. So we've got money. Yeah, this is gonna get expensive. I have just pauperized myself. Ugh. Yeah, I'm going for it anyway. I don't feel really comfortable with this, but let's see. Let's see if we can make it work. Okay, lesser healing. Yeah, this is actually kind of interesting combo. Okay, Man-at-Arms. One eye patch for each eye. Higher protection, higher crit. Interesting, okay. Double magic wands. Just trying to think what happens if the... the rocks come smashing down on me. Sure. So one of the nice things is pretty much everyone has a self-heal now. So I'm feeling slightly better about things. Now, while I'm at it, I just want to make sure that everybody's got the skills I want them to have. So let's say... get rid of Rampart in favor of Defender. Can live with those, and I can live with these. All right. Again, I've not left myself any money for necessities. Yikes. I gotta bring some kind of a ship. Nah. God, this is going to be a risky run. We'll max out the food. We'll actually ditch a torch in favor of that. Yeah, let's see how this goes.
This raving creature had to be silenced, but doing so proved maddeningly impossible. How had he survived the stockades, the icy waters, and the knives I delivered so enthusiastically into his back? How had he returned time and time again to rouse the townfolk with his wild speculations and prophecies?
So the trick on this one is, unlike the last run, I actually want to make sure I don't lose any of the...
The echoes of his mindless tittering reverberate maddeningly.
I want to make sure I don't lose any of the party this time around. I'm going to try going down this path first. This is because I'll have the option of camping if it doesn't turn out. Well, this is off to a good start. Photomania. Okay, it's going to be a little hard to get these guys in the back, but... Oh! Never mind. Damn it.
Destroyed. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
So again, if we get lucky on the draw with the Prophet being located here, this means that we sort of get to take them on the most favorable terms that we can get. This also means that we get to clear out the rest of the dungeon at our leisure. If it doesn't turn out that way... Okay, so this is really useful information. I don't need to go past this obstacle, seeing as there's nothing waiting for me except some curios. This was, of course, the big risk about not bringing any shovels, but I actually didn't think we were going to do as well with the scouting as we have been. But now, of course, there's the risk that the Prophet winds up being behind an obstacle anyway. But oh, sorry, Ascania. No, so the challenge here is that for some reason, Darkest Dungeon resizes every time it loads between the hamlet and the dungeon parts. And taking a screenshot fixes it, but it's actually a I have to remember each time to do it, and I don't always have the best memory for it. So thank you for letting me know. And that's a general. So for those of you who've been wondering about it, like, I know I don't like backseating, but if it's like obvious if it's obviously spoiling the stream, like, you completely can point that. I don't consider that backseating. I consider that being, hey dummy, it's not working. The worst case I've ever had was I was playing a game that I really liked.
Executed with impunity.
And I actually had the stream on mute for the last hour of it. And people, I mean, as it turns out, that wound up being really appropriate for the moment in the game, but I was giving this full commentary which nobody heard.
Victory nonetheless.
And yeah, so I'm definitely not above those kinds of mistakes.
Another one falls.
So normally I'd take the opportunity to heal my characters, but being able to eliminate the entire crew was kind of too good of an opportunity to pass up.
A handsome reward for a task.
So we don't know what's behind that door. Okay. I think here I'm gonna say discretion's a better part of valor and not try and take those things on. Ooh. Alright, didn't give us as much information as I wanted, but... So I mean, it seems pretty clear that the Prophet's gonna be up at the end here, so that gives me an indication about when I might want to use my campfire. Normally I try and deal with the stress and torch damager, but in this case the opportunity is a little too good to deal maximum damage on the bad guys. Although in this case I think I'm going to do a Hound's Harry, and this is just because I know my Man-at-Arms is going to be able to take out the back row. We'll see if that's enough. One short. So in trying to spread out the damage, I wound up giving everybody a crack at it. So do hurt guys heal when you're not using them? So this is the thing about it, GNR/. There's a fascinating perspective on heroes in this game, which is you start every dungeon at full health. It's actually it's the stress damage that's permanent. So basically the idea in this game, what this game kind of communicates is that flesh is very easy to replace, but the long-term damage of sort of adventuring is what sort of stays with the heroes. Which I love this idea. I probably didn't need to do that, seeing as it was an empty room. Oh, we get to see what's... Okay, so we do have a battle in the treasure room, but unless it like devastates the party, we should be able to see it through. I definitely packed too much food, but it's like life. I mean, I kind of feel like there's definitely permanent damage that that you can do to yourself. But okay, this has been a pretty lucky run so far. I'm going to do a Hound's Harry here. This is partly just to get some damage to the Bone Veteran. That was unlucky. I think the Frothing Madman is the one that causes me a little more stress. Well, not like stress, but stresses me system chalk out more. We'll do Abyssal Artillery just to hammer the back. Alright, now he'll still bleed out, so I'm lucky there. I think there's a good argument to be healing up the Man-at-Arms. We are going to be camping, but that doesn't mean that we can't... doesn't mean we can't try and help things out. Okay, weird reconstruction. Ooh.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
So that's a self-heal, that's not too helpful. So. Damn it!
Continue the onslaught.
destroy them all.
Now, unfortunately, I don't have any stuns. So we'll do what we can to heal this guy up.
Press this
All right.
advantage.
Not too
Give
bad.
them no quarter. This expedition at least
We'll
promises
replace
success.
the herbs, and we will replace the... anti-venom might actually become useful in the Prophet fight, so we'll get rid of the ruby first. Now, first thing we'll do is camp, because it's the last room before the boss.
Circle in the dark. The
Oh,
battle
and
may
pretty
yet
much
be
everybody's healed up. Now, I don't think... So everybody gets +7 to avoid a... I am going to do the Unspeakable Commune. Now, it sucks that people get the stress, but it's a trade-off I'm willing to take. Next up, I'm going to be improving the protection of the Man-at-Arms. This is going to be all about the buffs for the next little bit. Alright, looks like we've only got enough for pep talks, but in this case I will buff we'll do the Bloody Shroud again. 7 stress is not enough to like want to do the pep talk for, so. So we might run into some stuff during the
match is struck. A blazing star is born.
we might run into some stuff on the way to the Fulminating Prophet, but I'm feeling generally okay. Alright, as long as we don't get 3 more battles.
Be gone, fiend.
Damn it! This is not exactly my finest hour here. So we're just gonna walk through the...
These nightmarish
Well-
creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I feel like the anti-venom is going to be more useful against the Fulminating Prophet, so I don't like the fact that the Houndmaster's taking this damage, but I'm gonna live with it. Okay, we'll see if this was worth it.
The madman hides there, behind the pews, spouting his mindless drivel.
Okay, so first things first, we're gonna chop down as many of these pews as we can. I'm gonna do a Weakening Curse on the Prophet. I'm going to hit Defender on the Houndmaster. And we're gonna Hounds Rush the Prophet to get that bleed up. Okay. I thought he was supposed to be guarded. Alright, same group. So we'll do the same thing with the pews. We'll do the damage we can. In this case, nope, I'm gonna Hounds Rush him again because that keeps getting the bleed stacked up. And I still maintain that Defender's the right call here, but if he doesn't... Cool. So again, we're just beating the crap out of these In this case, I'm going to try weird reconstruction. Oh, damn it. I kind of want to lick wounds here, but my Houndmaster's in reasonably good shape, so we will continue to get the bleed stacking up. And let's try Retribution, actually.
Impressive.
Okay, heavy damage, but we've built for that, so. So stack up the bleed where I can. I'm gonna do weird reconstruction on the Houndmaster again, just to try and get these things built up. We'll heal the now. Anti-venom for sure. Will help out my comrade with the pews. He's doing a good job of dealing with the riposte. Now I have, unfortunately, lost my healer for this round, but we'll hew our way to the Prophet. The nice thing now is that we're going to be hitting the Pew blockade as well as the Prophet at this point. So I'm going to be... Oh, you know what? I need to be giving him dog treats. In this one... I think I'm going to go for the Crush. Okay, I mean, damage, but not impossible to deal with. Alright, let's see. I don't want to end it this round, but I want to get it as close as I can to ending. Let's get the Man-at-Arms healed up, because they're going to be taking more damage. Doggy treat, and nibble on the Prophet. So he's taken 8 damage around. Carpentry's actually got quite a bit of damage, so I think in this case I am actually going to put a little more damage on the Prophet here.
Unnerved, unbalanced.
Okay, that's a little disconcerting. This is a big worry now.
From becoming unwound.
So I really need to avoid any damage on the leper here. Okay. Safety. So what are we looking at here? 6 damage for 2 rounds. Thing is, he's got 13 damage left. I'm going for the greed.
Decisive pummeling.
Just shy of what I needed on the Pew blockade. Alright, 2's not bad.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
You think I lack some Crusader action? So 2,500 gold each, so that we just got 5,000 for our trouble there. We can also ditch some of our other... Okay. So now I need to be a little more careful. Let's say we'll switch out a Citrine. I do want the unmovable helmet if I can. You know what? I think we'll just call it here. So in this case, we can afford to... Yeah. Is there anything else that I don't... No, all of this I want. Alright, so we'll return to the hamlet instead. So that was worth it in the end. We're still lower in terms of money, but we got some pretty sweet heroes, and we were able to take down another boss. So I suppose the one thing I could have done a little bit better would be to wind up with more heirlooms other than just crests, but even then, we're doing okay. Okay, True Asgoth wound up with the Fits.
Life. The greatest treasure of all.
Ooh, by hateful curse or malign miracle, it seems even death may be defied in this damnable place. Only one of these soldiers can be returned to the living. So, we've got Matravers, we've got Gand, and we've got Cecilia. Well, Cecilia is obviously the highest level, so welcome back.
To those with a keen eye, gold gleams like a dagger's point.
And Cardinal is a level 3 leper, so I'll bring them in.
This
I
man
might boot them
understands
because we've
that
already got...
adversity and existence are one and the same.
We've obviously got so many lepers, but right now I get them for free, so... I don't know about Immortal, but definitely round 2. Alright, not enough deeds for the blacksmith, fair enough. Do we have enough paintings for the guild? We do not. Though it is slightly tempting to see if I can trade for portraits. So what are we looking at here? 12? Yeah. Oh! That was so bad. I did it the wrong way around. Well, that was a big blunder. Crap. Anyways, we've outfitted the guild, so that was bad. There's really no excuse for what I just did there. Okay. So if I'm feeling really bold, I can go to the Cove and try and take out the Sunken Crew. I actually seem to remember the Sunken Crew wasn't the most hair-raising of the fights I could get into. I should just take a quick second here. So I don't really need either of these roles, although I believe... No, it's a level 1 Flagellant. So unless they have a better set of skills... No, I'm still going to need to mess around with the skills on both of those. So, let's do a couple things here. So, number 1, we'll take True Asgoth, get him cured of the Fits. And Plagus will get cured of Vertigo. Cecilia will get cured of Ennui. So I may not necessarily be investing too much in my party this time around. So there's actually a bit of an argument for me trying to bring the old group, save for maybe 1 or 2... Wait, did I do this the wrong way around? Yeah. There's a little bit of an argument for me to try and bring as much of the old party back in. I'm a little uncomfortable bringing Frankenvinder given what their... given what their stress is at. I'm just trying to remember the Sunken Crew. So there was that... The Anchor one heals them. I remember that. I seem to recall that they had a little bit of... I think they had like a higher prot or something along those lines. I get a bunch of crests out of that, so it's not the most exciting reward in the world, but it's actually not a terrible one either. Is the stream? Yeah, the stream's full screen. You win some, you lose some, you know. Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things that's so nice about the Darkest Dungeon is that there's really no way to lose it. I know on like the super hard mode, there is like a timer on it, but in reality, you don't actually lose. You don't really lose that much. So, okay, so the cove is built for blight, not bleed. I think there's like, so to GNR's point, this would normally be a Crusader job, but I believe GNR is currently on a Vision quest or something along those lines. I think I'm gonna ditch Frankenvendor because of the stress. So is there something I can do around... So we did lose Tall Woman Alive. Sin is too high for this. Scream is kind of tempting because of the Pierce and the Blight and whatnot. So maybe we'll consider something there. Kite's an interesting position 3. The only thing is that I don't have much of a healer. Maybe that won't matter. Asamagoma? Beast Bile's an interesting choice. It's high. It's a blight skill. They have a heal. They've got a stun. Let's try and make it work. Although, again, it's kind of hard to argue for the Houndmaster. So they've got a patch up too. Okay, so let's see what it'll cost me to upgrade this party. This is a little more than I want to spend. This is getting expensive. Alright, I can live with this. How long is the full playthrough of this game? I don't know, GNR Slash. This is actually the furthest I've gotten in the game. Or if you don't want to ruin that, I get it. No. So the objective is to get to the Darkest Dungeon, which is level 6. But that's not an easy thing to do. Alright. We'll do 8 here. I'm gonna bring 2 shovels. I may regret that. Okay, so I have a little bit of money left over. Not a ton, though. You know what? Go a little short on the torches as well. How do I feel about this? I feel like I should be a little bit more sort of set in my decisions, which is either yes, we're going short on food, yes, we're going short on torches, but I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with this. So one drawback is that my heal is not great, but I have a lot of characters that can sort of do damage mitigation or otherwise sort of self-heal, so... First time you've been able to enjoy my stream? Well, I don't know if you've been playing it or not. Yeah, I've actually been playing it the last few Fridays.
I employed a crew of particularly unsavory mariners, who for a time sailed the four corners at my behest, retrieving many valuable artifacts, relics, and rare texts. Predictably, they increased their tariffs to counter my intense stipulations of secrecy. Such resources had long been exhausted, of course, and so I prepared an alternative payment.
So again, I'm a little worried about my ability to take this thing out
The poor
on time.
devils, chained and drowning for eternity.
I'm going to make a guess that the crew is here. I also have the advantage of 2 sort of uninterrupted moves, so we're not going to... This is bait. I'm going to leave this as well. So we'll plow ahead to the far end. And if I turn out to be wrong, I mean, that's a shame, but we have avoided immediate fights, so. Okay, so shovels were the right call.
Another mariner, another misfortune. Mind that such missteps are the exception.
You'd highly recommend this game even if you don't complete it. It's a great experience. I agree completely, Demon Priestess. I mean, it's one that I've had for a while. I actually got it in early access, and I've always kind of turned it on for a little bit and then gone away and then kind of come back. But, this could turn bad against me, but I think we'll be able to manage it. I'm quite worried about the stingers. So much that I think I'm going to try stunning the pelagic bulwark. So first priority is to get rid of the Pustulant Thrall, although in this case I can't, so damn it. So we will...
As the fiend
So this guy
falls,
blows up, so that's the
a
reason I
hope
did that.
blossoms.
Okay. Drat.
Press this advantage. Give
But
them
yeah,
no
it's I mean
quarter.
it's a game that really kind of rewards every time I've kind of sat down to play it, I've always wound up spending far more time than I'd intended playing the game. And again, like I said, there's really no fat on the game. It's so well done. A relatively limited number of actions that you can perform, all told, but just a tremendous amount of depth out of things. And like even in terms of the art style in that, like you would probably be surprised at the number of times assets get reused in this game, but you wouldn't know it looking at
Powerful blow.
looking at the different environments. And by the way, I don't think it's a bad thing for games to just reuse art assets. I just think it's like the fact that they can do it and you don't notice it in the game is sort of a testament to their ability to
Their formation is broken.
produce a really
Maintain the offensive.
this really moody and sort of atmospheric game without people really sort of realizing some of the tricks. So, all right, let's see. This might give me stress reduction. I can't remember what this thing does. Great artifact inspires the hero. So the one drawback here is that because Scream is really good at moving between the two positions, the benefit that Kaya LB gets for being in position 1 isn't quite there. Alright, so we've got a fight coming up here. I mean, we knew this was going to come up eventually, so... This makes it a little scarier to use the campfire, but we'll see. Alright, who's got the best trap disarm? Cool Eagle! How are you doing? Thank you very much for the raid. I still don't have a raid message, just a host message, but I see you, sir. So resting hero reduces the long-term stress they have. Yeah, so if you put them in one of your buildings like the tavern or the the tavern or the abbey, they'll recover their stress. Otherwise, you have to use basically an ability. You have to use an ability that the Jester has to reduce stress usually. One day you're actually going to play this game. It is so worth it, Cool Eagle. I strongly recommend it, as do some people inside of chat.
Impressive.
I've actually, so I didn't actually finish this thought when I said it last. I am looking to do a mod for this game, but unfortunately I don't know how to get Fmod 1.06.07. So if any of you know how to get that, I would greatly appreciate the advice. So this is mostly just to get the leper in position 1 so that they can rain death on people again. This time I'm going to do Chop because we know that this guy's going to die to the plague next round, so the Chop's going to do some more damage in position 1. You have 89 hours in it, but you've never gotten past the Witch. Is that the one in the Warrens? And in this case here, it's actually tempting to shoot the Pelagic Oracle. The thing is that it's protected by the Pelagic Bulwark, so in this case I'm going to take the opportunity to heal the leper. But I believe the Beast's Bile will target the Oracle, so it does not. Okay. Okay, so blocks removed, but we should still be able to make something out of this. Let's start by doing... Oh, no stun. Okay. I have no moves that will not displace the leper. That's a shame, but... And because there's nothing useful they can do right now, we'll do Solemnity just to get some healing in. This will give them an opportunity to sort of stress us out, but never mind. Right between the eyes! By the way, welcome everybody from Cool Eagle stream. I know some of you are here. Thank you very much for following him. An evil force engulfs the hero. Minus 25% damage and accuracy until camp. Now, hopefully we get a scout. I'm actually gonna... Because apparently... That's weird if... Darker improves scouting. Anyways, I'm actually gonna let this run down a little bit on the odd chance we find out what's in this next room. But first things first. Let's take him out. Kremlin Kev, good to see you. Alright, throw up on them.